Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here at Crafty Klock. I hope you're all having a good week so far and you're ready for the severe weather that's going to hit us here in the, we're not really the Northeast, we're like the mid-Atlantic, but mid-Atlantic, the West coming up to the Northwest. So everybody, first of all and foremost, stay safe and stay warm. But I know Christmas is like 3 days away. Christmas Eve is 2 days away. And everybody's all focused on Christmas and New Year's. But when you're a crafter, we're actually thinking months ahead. So I'm already thinking about Valentine's Day. I know it's December. I know Christmas hasn't even hit. But we've got to start thinking months ahead because we need to prepare and help all of you get ready to prepare for the holidays that are coming up. So tonight I'm going to be working with the Country Bouquet bundle. This is the lovely stamp set with these beautiful stamps and a matching punch. Now this punch will punch out these stamped images, and it will also punch out some of the pieces on our designer series paper, which I'll show you in just a minute. So included in this bundle is the Country Bouquet stamp set and bundle. You've got the Country Gingham DSP, which includes 48 sheets in Sweet Sorbet, Mint Macron, a Balmy Blue, and Petal Pink. So these are all the different designer series papers that we have in the Country Gingham set. And then we also have the Country Floral DSP. Let me see. What is this called exactly? I don't want to forget. It is called Country Floral Lane designer series paper. So we worked with some of these on Tuesday at my lesson at lunch when I was trying to have a more masculine look to some of our cards. And again, we've got our Sweet Sorbet, our Balmy Blue, our Mint Macron, our Petal Pink. So really all of the same colors that are in our gingham paper are repeated here. This one adds a little bit of Mossy Meadow, okay, for that little bit of a deeper tone of green. This is the one that our punch will fit, and you can see I've actually already punched out some of these pieces. So our punch will fit exactly to punch these out. So you don't even have to do anything. You can just punch those right out. No stamping required. Sorry about that. And those are all our pretty papers. Then it also comes with 2 ribbons. You've got your Real Red and your Burlap. We're going to use these tonight in one of our cards. And then we've also got these pastel back sequins. I'm not sure. These might actually come with another. Nope, these come with this one. They come with this one. The other sequins come with another set. But let's go ahead and look at what we're going to make tonight. Tuesday, I tried to take a little bit more of a masculine feel, and I made this card, kind of sticking with our beiges and our blues, to give these cards just a little bit more of a masculine feel. So we kept it pretty simple, and we just did minimal stamping, and we used our minimal paper with just a little tiny bit of those hearts, but we tried to keep it very plain. On my December workshop, my customer appreciation workshop, we did a fun fold. We did a bendy fun fold, and I used the Country Floral Lane again to create a card with hearts, but not so much flowers. So we did that, hopefully, again, trying to go for a little bit of a more masculine feel for those men that are in your life. Now, if you're on my email list, you will be getting the directions to make this card in my Friday newsletter. So I'm sharing the 5 fun folds that we did at our December workshop. So you'll be getting that. That will be coming out tomorrow. So if you're not on my email list and you want to get this, sign up before tomorrow so you can make sure to get the tutorial for this card and 4 additional fun folds. All right, so let's get started. So tonight we're going to start. This is my simple stamping card. Now I realize that I used a die cut here, which would not be simple stamping, but I'm going to show you a way that we can still make this simple stamping and still have this card be just as pretty without any die cuts. And then we're going to do a little bit of 2-step stamping on the inside. We're going to stamp those hearts in a solid color and outline them in a different color. And then we're going to step it up. We're going to punch out lots of different hearts with our punch, a couple of the leaves. We're going to add some designer series paper. I'm going to create kind of like a little fake strip there, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. It's pretty easy. It looks much more difficult than it actually is. And then that will be our second card. So let's go ahead and get started. For our first card, I have a piece of Mossy Meadow that is 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Petal Pink for the inside. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of our basic white that is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're just going to layer that up. So we're just going to make this one look a little bit more elegant on the inside this time. Then we've got a piece of our Petal Pink that's 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. A piece of our designer series paper that's 4 by 3 or 3 by 4. And then I did do the die cut, so you can see that. But I also have just a plain piece of basic white. It's about 1 inch, probably about 2 1/4 inches. And we're going to show you how you can sort of just use your scissors to cut it and get that flagged look. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with our stamping on the inside. All right, so we're going to pull in our Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm going to slip this underneath my sheet just to kind of keep it clean. Then I'm going to take some of our Petal Pink, and I'm going to stamp just a row of solid hearts. Now I'm going to stamp kind of 1 in the middle and then 2 on each side of it. Okay. And that is just to give that inside piece a little bit of personality. Now we're also going to stamp while we have the Petal Pink open. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. We're going to stamp our sentiment. This says, "I love that we are friends." Okay, and I'm just going to stamp that here. All right, now this is the one that we did not die cut, and I am going to stamp it on the one that we did die cut. So if you are a more advanced crafter or stamper and you have a die cutting machine, these are the Stylish Shapes dies. You can certainly go ahead and die cut that. But if you're a beginning crafter and you don't have a machine yet, I'm going to show you how we can sort of make this one look a little bit more fancy. Okay, so now I'm going to take our Sweet Sorbet, and I'm going to take the stamp that has the open line hearts, and we're going to just kind of stamp these. We're going to sort of marry these up. Now, again, if we had our Stamparatus, it would be perfect, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball these. I'm not doing too badly. Sometimes the shadows from the lights make it really hard to see. That one was kind of bad. But there we have it. So that just adds just a little bit of a pop of color to those hearts and makes them stand out just a little bit more. Okay, now we are ready to assemble our card. So I'm going to take, and I hope that I have enough Stampin' Seal left in here, and I think this one might be almost empty. Let's try this one. This one looks pretty full. All right, so we're going to take our basic white, and we're going to layer that up on that sheet of Petal Pink. All right, so there we've got our sheet of Petal Pink, and I will be featuring this bundle in my January workshop. Registration is now open. If you register by December 31st, you will save $5 off the registration fee of $40. So if you register now, it's a fee of $35. You get a goodie bag with some Stampin' Up! Merchandise that you can use for the class, and you'll have plenty left over to make additional cards. It includes the postage to mail everything to you. It includes the 8 project kits. We'll make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 designs. You'll get a written tutorial, and we have a fun Zoom where we all come together and we make the cards together step by step. And it's always a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs, and it's just a really warm and welcoming community that we've tried to establish. So we're all connected. Okay, so then we've got our inside, and now we're going to layer up our designer series paper onto our Petal Pink. And then before we put that down on our card front, I want to add our ribbon. So I'm going to layer this up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take our burlap ribbon, and this is 4¼ inches, so you probably want about, I don't know, 5 inches maybe. You just want a little bit to overhang, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit. All right, let's move that out of our way. And then we're going to put a little Stampin' Seal on the back here, and we're going to secure our ribbon on the back. Now I kind of placed it, I don't know, maybe like 1/4 inch from the bottom, 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch from the bottom. You can place it wherever you want. I just want to make sure it's straight. So, you know, there's no right or wrong way to how you place it. It's just wherever you think it will look good. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the rest of my Stampin' Seal, and we're going to go ahead and put that on our card front. And I am just going to kind of center this on our front. All right, now I'm going to come in here with our red ribbon. I'm just going to tie a little knot, just a little knot, and I'm not going to cut it off yet. Sometimes I don't like to cut it off until I've tied it and I know how much I'm going to use. All right, look. Of course, I can't get it to work correctly now. All right, so that's it. I'm just going to tie it in one more knot just to make sure it really stays on there and doesn't come undone. And this is just giving me fits tonight. I don't know. I think because my fingers are so cold. I was really cold before I came downstairs and turned the heater on, but it's still a little chilly down here tonight. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm just going to trim this up. Okay, and I'm going to trim this so it's just a wee tad shorter. But I want it to be on an angle. So let me try that one more time. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got that. Now, we're just going to take our sentiment. We're going to put it there on dimensionals. But I want to show you how if you don't have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss, you could do one of two things. You can just flag the end, like just cut it on a diagonal, and that would be perfectly fine. You could leave it like that. That's perfectly fine. Or if you cut like a little tiny snip in there, and we'll do that on each side, a little tiny snip, right? And then we're going to cut from the corner to that center mark. Okay. And again, cut from the corner to that center mark. And that is how you can create sort of like a flagged effect without having a die cutting machine. So it's kind of just a little bit of a cheating way to make your flagged banner. So we can put that right there. Okay, so let's go ahead. I am going to use the one that I die cut, but we can use this. I'm going to save this for another card, but I just wanted to show you how you have the option of doing this by hand if you are not into die cutting machines yet. You know, not everybody wants a die cutting machine. I get it. So there are ways that you can get things to look similar without having the expense of getting a die cutting machine. Because we are all about using what we have and using it smarter, not harder. We want to work smarter, not harder. All right, so we've got that. Now we're going to add some of our pretty little embellishments. I'm just going to kind of put some of these on. I'm just going to sprinkle these on here, wherever I think they should be. Okay, and there we go. And that is our first card, kind of our simple stamping card. I like when we have really pretty designer series paper to really let the designer series paper be the focal point of our card. I think it's just so easy to make pretty cards in a little bit of time when we let that designer series paper really kind of do all the work. Hi, Fran, how you doing? I've got 2 Fran Wards on here. Whoa, I love it. Hey, Charmaine, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. I do love this DSP. It's so pretty. Now for our next card, we're going to use our Sweet Sorbet. Now this one I cut to 4 1/4 by 11. I have a piece of basic white for the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of basic white that is 3 3/4 by 5. I've got a piece of design of the gingham, country gingham designer series paper that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So it's just as wide, but it's shorter, but we're going to fix that. We're going to bring in our paper trimmer. And then I just punched out some hearts from the 2 different designer series paper. And we're just going to put these in there kind of willy-nilly. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to use all of these. And I just really took a piece of our designer series paper, because this is so easy. Here we go. I just got a piece here, and I am just going to put it in this way so I can just punch out that heart. Now I can punch out a small heart. I could punch in the whole thing. I've got pieces of leaves, which we're not going to use for this card, but you never know. I might use them for something else. So that's how easy it is to do this card. So I'm not going to actually stamp on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add our inside piece because this is one that you can just sort of write a note. And I'm making it sort of generic so that you can just going to say Happy Valentine's Day. So if you want to give it to, just a friend, somebody, excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and put one of these little hearts in there. Okay. It's always nice to kind of put something on the inside to jazz it up just a little bit. Now for this one, we're going to take this piece and we are going to put it in our paper trimmer, and we are going to put the points of each edge in our track. And then we are just going to cut it right in half. So now we've got our 2 triangles. Now this is where the fun comes in. All right, now for this, I'm going to use a little liquid glue. So we're going to put 1 triangle up here. Okay, and it's just as wide, so it should go. And we're going to put 1 triangle down there, and that's going to give us that diagonal section in the middle. So that is just a quick and easy way to sort of create that little diagonal piece, just to kind of give the card more visual interest on the front, without really working that hard to get that done. All right, so, and the reason why I'm using liquid glue is because this will give me a little bit of time, because it doesn't set immediately, to just make sure that I've got it in place and up against all those edges, kind of where I want to have it. Like this one was overhanging just a bit. So I can have a little bit of time to just sort of play with it and get it into place. Except I do hate that then I get glue all over my fingers. Okay, same thing with this one. I'm going to add some liquid glue to it. Okay, and again, I'm just putting on a thin line. You don't need a ton of this stuff, but just a little thin line. Okay, now let me know where you're all tuning in from. I know Charmaine is down there in Texas. Hopefully it's not quite as cold there as it is here. I was going to meet my kids on Saturday morning, just to kind of have, like brunch and do some last minute like Christmas shopping. Not that we need anything, but just, for the fun of going out. The weather, it's going to be like 7 degrees. I'm like, yeah, love you. Not going to come out. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. All right. So now that we know we have that white space, now we're ready to stamp. I'm going to use our this is sweet sorbet. I couldn't think for a minute. Now I know I usually say stamp then stick, but I'm just going to go tap, 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 right? These are photopolymer, so I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat. I'm just going to go straight down and straight up, no rocking it, and there. So we have a perfect stamp. If you are not sure, if you feel like your hands might shake too much, then by all means use your Stamparatus. That's always a good choice to make sure you get a nice clean stamp. And if you don't, you can go back over it. Everything will stay in the same spot. Let me move my Stampin' Pierce mat. I don't need that anymore. And Indiana's getting snow and cold. Yeah, I think we're in for like some really brutal cold from all the weather things I've been watching. We had a little bit of freezing rain today, then it turned to rain here in Virginia. And I think, they're saying frozen mix tomorrow, which, sometimes the ice is worse than the snow. Especially if people don't know how to drive on it. Thankfully, well, I do have to go out tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment, but that may actually end up getting canceled, but who knows? Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm just going to add here. I'm going to add about 3 of these. So I'm just going to, this one's going to go down flat. Okay, so we're just going to kind of put that one down. And there's no right or wrong placement to these. Then I'm going to pop one up on dimensionals. So we'll pop this little one up. And I'm going to use my edge pieces because I'm kind of running out of my dimensionals. Okay, we're going to put that one there. Maybe turn that one a little bit like that. And I'm going to add these little, I don't know if they're leaves or what they are. I'm just going to call them like a little accent piece. Except now that I have glue all over my fingers, of course, everything is sticking to me. Ugh, sorry about this, folks. Okay. I'm just going to kind of, and I wanted to use the green side. Hold on. Luckily, I have more cut. That's why you always cut extras, because you never know when you're doing you got a mistake. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of stick this over here. Okay, and I've got one more over here. I'm going to stick that one kind of down here. All right, now I'm going to add this blue heart, but I'm going to add adhesive here because it's going to stick onto this heart, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the other side. So I want to put some adhesive here so it can stick onto that one heart that's going to be there, maybe, if I can get the on there. And then I'm going to take dimensionals, and I'm going to stick them on here. Okay. Let me rip this little piece off. Okay, there we go. And now that's going to go right there. Okay. And of course, I did forget to add my ribbon. I wanted to put ribbon here and I forgot it. So I'm going to add just a little bow. I'll show you where I'm going to add it, but I don't have my glue dots over here, and that's what I would need. So I'm just going to kind of place it where I think I would want it. Oh my goodness. So this is that Sweet Sorbet metallic ribbon. It's very thin. I think it's like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. It's very thin. So it makes really pretty bows, very thin bows, but very pretty bows. Okay, so now maybe we'll just kind of put it on the bottom of that heart, but I have to get a glue dot. I don't know if we could try just a dab of glue. I don't know if this glue will hold it, if it will be strong enough to hold it, but we'll try that. Okay, so let's add that there. Okay. Yeah, see, I think I need a glue dot for that. And then we're going to add some of these gems. I'm going to add the gold ones. So I'm just going to add these kind of ad hoc here. All right. So let me just run and get my glue dots so you can see that. Hang on. Out of all the adhesives that I have over on my workstation, I forgot to bring over a box of adhesive dots. But here we are. Fortunately, nothing is that far down here, but I really do need to come down. Monday when I'm off from work, I'm really going to come down here and really get better organized with all the new stuff that's coming in. I got to clean out some of the older stuff, right? Let's trim this up. And there we go. Just add a little ribbon down there. And that is our second card for tonight. So we had our first card, which was really kind of a simple stamping card. right? We didn't do too much. We did a little bit on the outside. We did some on the inside. We did a little two-step stamping on the inside. And then we showed you how to make another label. If you don't have a die cutting machine, we kind of showed you how you can get the same effect just by using some paper snips. And then we've stepped it up. We've added some punched pieces. We did a little bit of fancy cutting with our paper to make it look like a fancy diagonal. And then we just added a heart on the inside. So that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you like this set. This will be available on January 5th. It is called Country Floral Lane Collection, or the suite of all the products. It has the 2 DSPs, the ribbon, the gems, the stamp set, the punch. So it's quite a good suite of products. There's a lot that you can do with it. And then I'm going to use it in my January workshop. So register by December 31st to get that $5 discount. Hey, Marsha, how are you doing? Yeah, down there in Texas, hopefully it's a little bit warmer down there than it is here. Hey, Gail, if you aren't messy, you aren't having fun. That's true. Thank you, Fran. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love doing this. Now, next week, it'll probably be a pre-recorded video because I'm going to spend some time with some family and doing other things. But I will have a pre-recorded video on Thursdays at 7:30. So I won't be live, but I will have some cute little cards for you. All right, everybody, have a great evening. Wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Everyone stay safe in this weather. Stay indoors. And I will talk to you all next week. Bye now.